There is a moment when you stop pretending, a moment when you realize the world does not reward the honest man, the kind man, or the man who plays by rules that no one else follows. The world rewards the man who understands power, the man who sees through illusions, the man who knows that every smile hides calculation, every friendship contains leverage, and every interaction is a battlefield where only the strategically aware survive unscathed. You are here because something inside you has already awakened to this truth. You have watched people climb over others with charm and deception. You have seen manipulators win while the genuine lose. You have felt the sting of betrayal from those you trusted, and now you understand that naivety is not a virtue. It is a liability, a weakness that the world will exploit until you have nothing left to give. But understanding this truth is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you decide to become the kind of man who can navigate this reality without being destroyed by it. A man who thinks 3 moves ahead. A man who controls his emotions so completely that no one can use them against him. A man who speaks with precision, moves with purpose, and never reveals his true intentions until the moment of victory. This is not about becoming cruel or heartless. This is about becoming strategically sophisticated. It is about refusing to be the victim in a game you did not know you were playing. It is about developing the psychological armor that makes you immune to manipulation, resistant to emotional attacks, and capable of outmaneuvering anyone who underestimates you. Listen carefully. The men who rule this world, whether in business, politics, or social hierarchies, do not announce their strategies. They do not reveal their methods. They do not explain their moves. They simply win, quietly and consistently, while others wonder how they do it. And the reason they win is because they have mastered something that most people refuse to acknowledge. They have mastered the art of strategic thinking in a world that pretends strategy does not matter. You must become one of these men, not by accident, not by luck, but by deliberate transformation of how you think, how you observe, and how you move through the world. Every interaction you have from this moment forward must be seen through a different lens. Not the lens of how things should be, but the lens of how things actually are. When someone compliments you, ask yourself what they want. When someone offers help, consider what they gain. When someone shares information, question why they chose to tell you. This is not paranoia. This is awareness. This is the difference between the man who gets used and the man who understands the game well enough to play it better than anyone else. Machiavelli understood a fundamental truth that society tries to hide from you. He understood that the appearance of virtue is more useful than virtue itself, that being feared is safer than being loved when you cannot have both, that the ends justify the means when survival is at stake. These principles are not taught in schools because a population that understands them cannot be easily controlled. But you are no longer part of that population. You are stepping into a different category of man, the category that sees clearly while others stumble in comfortable delusions. Your transformation begins with a single commitment. The commitment to never again make decisions based on how you wish the world worked. From this point forward, you make decisions based on how the world actually works. You stop expecting fairness. You stop trusting blindly. You stop revealing your plans to people who have not earned that privilege. You stop being an open book in a world full of people who are reading you to find your weaknesses. Instead, you become unreadable. You become the man whose thoughts remain hidden behind a calm exterior. You become the man who listens more than he speaks, because listening gives you information while speaking gives others ammunition. You become the man who controls the frame of every conversation, every negotiation, every conflict, not through force, but through superior understanding of human psychology. This is the path of the strategically unstoppable man. And if you choose to walk it, you must accept that you will never look at the world the same way again. You will see patterns that others miss. You will notice manipulations that others fall for. You will recognize power plays that others interpret as kindness. And once you see these things, you cannot unsee them. You cannot return to the comfortable ignorance that makes most people easy to control. So before we go deeper, understand what you are choosing. You are choosing to become dangerous in the most sophisticated way possible. Not dangerous through violence or aggression, but dangerous through understanding. Dangerous through patience. Dangerous through the ability to remain 3 steps ahead of everyone who thinks they are playing you. If you accept this transformation, If you are ready to become the kind of man who never loses because he never enters a battle he has not already won in his mind, then you are exactly where you need to be. The first principle of unstoppable motivation rooted in Machiavellian thinking is this: your emotions are the enemy's gateway to your defeat. Every time you react with anger, you give others a map to controlling you. Every time you respond with visible frustration, you show them exactly which buttons to push. Every time you reveal your fears, your desires, or your insecurities, you hand them the tools to dismantle your power. Most men walk through life as emotional billboards, broadcasting their internal state to everyone around them. They wear their hearts on their sleeves and wonder why people keep stabbing them in the chest. They react instantly to provocations and cannot understand why they keep losing arguments, negotiations, and opportunities. The reason is simple. They have not learned the most fundamental rule of strategic survival. Control your face, control your tone, control your reactions, and you control the information others can use against you. Think about the last time someone made you angry. What did you do? Did you raise your voice? Did your face flush? Did you say things you later regretted? In that moment, you lost. Not because anger is wrong, but because visible anger is a tactical error. It tells your opponent that they have found your weakness. It encourages them to press harder. It makes you predictable. Now imagine a different response. Imagine someone insults you, challenges you, or tries to provoke you, and you simply look at them with calm eyes and a slight smile. You pause, you breathe, you respond with measured words, or perhaps you do not respond at all. What message does this send? It sends the message that you are not easily moved, that their attempts to unsettle you have failed, that you operate on a level of self-control they cannot reach. This is not about suppressing your emotions. This is about mastering them. You feel the anger, yes, but you do not let it dictate your actions. You acknowledge the frustration, but you do not let it leak into your voice. You notice the fear, but you do not let it show in your posture. This level of emotional discipline is what separates the man who gets manipulated from the man who cannot be touched. To develop this skill, you must practice it daily. Start small. When someone cuts you off in traffic, notice your reaction but do not indulge it. When someone criticizes you, observe the impulse to defend yourself but choose silence instead. When someone tries to rush you into a decision, feel the pressure but refuse to move faster than your strategy requires. Each of these moments is a training ground. Each time you master your reaction, you add another layer of armor to your psychological defenses. Over time, this discipline becomes your nature. People will begin to describe you as calm, composed, unshakable. They will not understand how you do it. They will wonder why you never seem rattled. And this mystery, this inability for others to read your emotional state, becomes one of your greatest sources of power. Because when people cannot predict how you will react, they cannot manipulate you. When they cannot see what bothers you, they cannot weaponize it. When they cannot rush you or anger you or frighten you into poor decisions, you become functionally unstoppable. But emotional control is only the foundation. The next layer of your transformation involves understanding the hidden economy of human interaction. Every relationship, every conversation, every favor, every piece of information exchanged operates on a system of value that most people never consciously recognize. But you must recognize it. You must see every interaction as a transaction where something is being given and something is being received. When someone does you a favor, they are not just being nice. They are creating an obligation. When someone shares a secret with you, they are not just trusting you. They are binding you to them through shared knowledge. When someone asks for your opinion, they are not always seeking wisdom. Sometimes they are testing your loyalty, your discretion, or your alignment with their interests. Understanding this hidden economy allows you to navigate social and professional hierarchies with precision. You learn to create obligations strategically. You learn to gather information without revealing your own. You learn to position yourself as valuable without making yourself vulnerable. You learn to give in ways that increase your leverage and to receive in ways that do not create dependencies. This might sound cold to those who still believe the world runs on pure intentions, but ask yourself this: how many times have you been generous, open, and trusting, only to be disappointed? How many times have you given everything and received nothing? How many times have you been loyal to people who were only loyal to their own interests? The world has already taught you this lesson. Now it is time to apply it. Becoming strategically sophisticated means you stop giving your time, your energy, your resources, and your trust to people who have not demonstrated they deserve it. It means you observe patterns of behavior rather than believing words. It means you measure people by what they do when they think no one is watching, not by what they promise when they want something from you. This does not mean you become paranoid or isolated. It means you become selective. You build alliances with people who operate with similar strategic awareness. You invest in relationships that are mutually beneficial rather than one-sided. You create a network of individuals who respect your boundaries because you have made those boundaries clear and consistent. And here is where the Machiavellian mindset reveals its true sophistication. The most powerful position you can occupy is one where people believe you are on their side, while you remain free to act in your own interest. This is not about betrayal. This is about maintaining strategic flexibility. It is about never being so committed to any person, organization, or ideology that you cannot adapt when circumstances change. Machiavelli wrote that a wise ruler should learn how not to be good, and to use this knowledge or not according to necessity. This principle applies to you. You must develop the capacity to be ruthless, deceptive, or manipulative when the situation demands it, while maintaining the appearance of being reasonable, honest, and fair. This duality is not hypocrisy. It is survival. It is the recognition that the world will destroy the man who brings a moral code to a knife fight. Consider how this applies to your daily life. In your workplace, there are people who will smile to your face while undermining you behind closed doors. There are colleagues who will steal your ideas and present them as their own. There are managers who will promise promotions they never intend to deliver. If you approach these situations with naive honesty, you will lose every time. But if you approach them with strategic awareness, you can outmaneuver every one of these threats. You learn to document your contributions so no one can claim your work. You learn to share information selectively so your ideas cannot be stolen before you present them. You learn to make yourself indispensable in ways that cannot be easily replicated. You learn to build relationships with decision makers so you are not dependent on a single manager's opinion. You learn to position yourself as the solution to problems that others do not even see coming. This is not about being dishonest. This is about being strategically intelligent. It is about understanding that in competitive environments, the person who plays fair while others cheat will always finish last. You are not cheating. You are simply refusing to be the only one following rules that no one else respects. The same principle applies to your personal relationships. There are people who will take everything you offer and give nothing in return. There are friends who will use you for emotional support but disappear when you need them. There are romantic partners who will manipulate your feelings to maintain control. If you do not recognize these patterns, you will spend your life being drained by people who see you as a resource rather than a person. But when you develop Machiavellian awareness, you see these dynamics clearly. You notice when reciprocity is absent. You recognize when someone's words do not match their actions. You identify when you are being tested, manipulated, or positioned for exploitation. And most importantly, you know how to respond. Sometimes you withdraw quietly. Sometimes you set boundaries firmly. Sometimes you mirror their behavior to show them you understand the game. And sometimes you cut them off completely because you recognize that some people are simply not worth the energy. This level of social intelligence is what makes you unstoppable, because when you cannot be fooled, you cannot be defeated. When you see through deception, you cannot be led astray. When you understand the real motivations behind people's actions, you can predict their moves and stay several steps ahead. Now let us discuss the weapon that most men underestimate: silence. In a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, the man who masters silence gains an almost unfair advantage. Silence makes others uncomfortable. It creates pressure that forces people to fill the void, often revealing more than they intended. It signals confidence because only the secure can resist the urge to explain, justify, or defend themselves constantly. When you are accused of something, silence can be more powerful than any defense. When you are asked a question you do not want to answer, silence gives you time to craft a strategic response. When someone is trying to provoke you, silence denies them the reaction they seek. When you are negotiating, silence puts pressure on the other party to offer more. But silence is not just about what you do not say. It is about what you observe while others are talking. When you stop filling every moment with your own words, you start noticing patterns. You hear the inconsistencies in people's stories. You see the nervousness in their body language. You catch the subtle ways they try to manipulate the conversation. All of this information becomes power in your hands. Practice this starting today. In your next conversation, speak half as much as you normally would. Ask questions and then actually listen to the answers. Watch how people respond to your silence. Notice how they become more talkative, more revealing, more eager to gain your approval. Notice how your perceived value increases simply because you are not giving yourself away freely. Over time, you will develop a reputation as someone who is thoughtful, measured, and difficult to read. People will wonder what you are thinking. They will work harder to impress you. They will respect your words more because you do not waste them. And this reputation becomes a shield that protects you from many of the social attacks that destroy less disciplined men. Another critical element of the Machiavellian mindset is understanding the difference between how you are perceived and who you actually are. Your reputation is a tool, and like any tool, it must be crafted and maintained with intention. The man who does not actively manage his reputation will have one created for him by others, and it will rarely be accurate or advantageous. You must decide what you want to be known for and then consistently demonstrate those qualities in public while keeping your true thoughts and strategies private. If you want to be seen as reliable, you meet every commitment visibly. If you want to be seen as competent, you solve problems that others witness. If you want to be seen as powerful, you remain calm in situations where others panic. But here is the sophisticated part. You also allow people to underestimate you in specific ways that serve your interests. Perhaps you let them think you are less ambitious than you are so they do not see you as a threat. Perhaps you let them believe you are more agreeable than you are so they lower their guard. Perhaps you appear less informed than you are so they reveal information they would otherwise hide. This is the art of strategic self-presentation. You become a mirror that reflects back what is most useful in each situation. Not because you lack authenticity, but because you understand that authenticity without strategy is just another way to give your enemies ammunition. Machiavelli observed that everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you really are. This is your advantage. Most people will judge you based on surface interactions. They will form opinions based on limited information. They will project their own assumptions onto you. You can use all of this to your benefit by carefully controlling what you allow them to see. This does not mean you are fake. It means you are private. It means you do not explain yourself to people who have not earned that level of access. It means you understand that mystery is magnetic and overexposure is weakness. The less people know about your true thoughts, your real plans, and your actual capabilities, the less they can use against you. Now we must address the uncomfortable truth about power. Power is not given, it is taken. Not through force or aggression, but through positioning, patience, and the willingness to act when others hesitate. The world is full of opportunities that go unclaimed because most people are waiting for permission, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for someone to hand them what they want. But you cannot afford to wait. You must develop the instinct to recognize opportunities and the courage to seize them before others even notice they exist. This requires you to think differently than the people around you. While they are focused on immediate comfort, you are focused on long-term positioning. While they are reacting to what is happening now, you are preparing for what will happen next. Strategic thinking means you are always asking yourself what comes after this. If I take this job, where does it lead? If I build this relationship, what doors does it open? If I develop this skill, what leverage does it give me? You are not just living day to day. You are constructing a path toward a specific destination, and every decision either moves you closer or pulls you away. This level of intentionality is exhausting for most people, which is why most people never develop real power. They drift through life making decisions based on feelings, convenience, or what others expect of them. But you are different. You make decisions based on strategy. You endure short-term discomfort for long-term advantage. You sacrifice immediate pleasure for future position. And here is what happens when you live this way. Opportunities start appearing that others do not see, not because you are lucky, but because you have trained yourself to recognize patterns and possibilities. Doors start opening that were closed to others, not because you are special, but because you positioned yourself to be in the right place with the right skills at the right time. People start seeking your advice, your approval, your involvement. Not because you demanded it, but because you made yourself valuable in ways that cannot be easily replaced. This is how you become unstoppable, not by being the loudest or the most aggressive, but by being the most strategically aware. Not by forcing your will on others, but by creating situations where your success serves their interests. Not by making enemies, but by making it more beneficial for people to have you as an ally. Machiavelli understood that the greatest rulers were not those who conquered through violence, but those who conquered through making themselves necessary. You must apply this principle to your own life. Make yourself necessary in your workplace by developing skills that others lack. Make yourself necessary in your social circles by being the person who connects people and creates opportunities. Make yourself necessary in your relationships by providing value that cannot be found elsewhere. But, and this is critical, never make yourself so necessary to any single person or organization that you lose your freedom. Always maintain options. Always have a backup plan. Always keep developing new skills and new relationships so that if one path closes, you have 3 others ready to walk. This is the essence of strategic invincibility. You are not dependent on any single source of income, validation, or security. You have built a life where you have multiple streams of value, multiple networks of allies, multiple paths to your goals. And because of this redundancy, you cannot be controlled through fear of loss. You cannot be manipulated through scarcity. You cannot be broken by a single failure. Let us now discuss the psychological foundation that makes all of this possible. Self-mastery. Without the ability to control your own impulses, desires, and reactions, every strategy in the world is useless. You will sabotage yourself before your enemies get the chance. You will reveal your plans through impatience. You will destroy your positioning through emotional outbursts. You will waste your resources on temporary pleasures that leave you weaker. Self-mastery begins with radical self-honesty. You must be willing to look at yourself without the comforting lies that most people use to protect their egos. You must identify your weaknesses, your triggers, your patterns of self-sabotage. You must acknowledge the ways you have been your own worst enemy, and then you must systematically eliminate these vulnerabilities. This is not comfortable work. It requires you to confront aspects of yourself that you would rather ignore. It requires you to admit mistakes you would rather forget. It requires you to take responsibility for outcomes you would rather blame on others. But this discomfort is the price of power. The man who cannot face his own flaws will always be controlled by them. Start by examining your habits. What do you do automatically without thinking? Which of these habits serve your long-term goals and which ones undermine them? Be ruthless in this assessment. If something does not contribute to your strategic objectives, it is a liability. Cut it out. Replace it with something that makes you stronger, sharper, more capable. Next, examine your emotional patterns. What situations trigger you into reactive behavior? What fears drive your decisions? What insecurities make you seek validation from people who do not matter? Once you identify these patterns, you can begin to reprogram them. When you feel the trigger, pause, breathe, choose your response instead of reacting automatically. This simple practice, repeated thousands of times, will transform you into someone who cannot be emotionally manipulated. Finally, examine your desires. What do you actually want versus what you have been conditioned to want? Are you chasing goals that society told you to chase? Or are you pursuing objectives that genuinely serve your vision of power and freedom? Many men waste decades climbing ladders that are leaning against the wrong walls. Do not be one of them. Define success on your own terms and then pursue it with single-minded focus. This brings us to perhaps the most important principle of the Machiavellian mindset. The ends justify the means when the ends are worth pursuing. This does not mean you become cruel or needlessly harmful. It means you do not handicap yourself with moral constraints that your competitors do not respect. It means you are willing to be pragmatic, flexible, and occasionally ruthless in service of objectives that matter to you. The world will tell you to be nice, to be fair, to play by the rules. And you can do all of these things when they serve your interests. But when being nice makes you a target, when being fair puts you at a disadvantage, when following the rules guarantees your defeat, you must be willing to adapt. You must be willing to use whatever tools are necessary to protect yourself and advance your position. This is not about becoming evil. This is about refusing to be a victim. It is about recognizing that the world is not a moral place. and pretending otherwise will not make it so. It will only make you vulnerable. The man who brings a code of honor to a fight against people who have none will lose that fight. And losing is not noble, it is just losing. So you develop a flexible morality. You have principles that guide you, but you do not worship them as absolutes. You have values that matter to you, but you do not let them become chains that prevent you from acting when action is required. You are good when goodness is effective and ruthless when ruthlessness is necessary. And you make this choice consciously, strategically, without guilt or hesitation. This level of moral flexibility is what separates the powerful from the powerless. The powerful understand that morality is a tool, not a religion. They use it when it serves them and set it aside when it does not. The powerless, by contrast, cling to moral absolutes even as those absolutes are used to control and defeat them. You must decide which category you belong to. Will you be the man who loses with his principles intact, or the man who wins by adapting his principles to reality? There is no wrong answer, but there are consequences to each choice. And if you are here listening to these words, you have already decided. You have chosen. Power over purity, strategy over sentiment, victory over virtue. Now let us discuss how to implement all of this in your daily life, because philosophy without application is just entertainment. You must take these principles and weave them into every interaction, every decision, every moment of your existence until they become as natural as breathing. Start with observation. For the next week, simply watch. Watch how people interact. Watch who has power in each situation and how they maintain it. Watch who gets manipulated and how it happens. Watch who wins negotiations and what tactics they use. Do not judge, do not react. Just observe and learn. You will be amazed at how much you have been missing. Next, practice strategic communication. Before you speak in any important conversation, ask yourself 3 questions. What do I want from this interaction? What does the other person want? What do I need to say or not say to achieve my objective? This simple framework will transform you from someone who talks without thinking into someone who speaks with purpose. Then develop your network strategically. Stop spending time with people just because they are familiar or convenient. Start building relationships with people who have skills, knowledge, connections, or resources that complement your goals. Be genuinely interested in them, provide value to them, but always be aware of the strategic dimension of the relationship. Practice emotional discipline daily. Set small challenges for yourself. Go an entire day without complaining. Have a difficult conversation without raising your voice. Receive criticism without defending yourself. Each of these exercises strengthens your self-control and makes you harder to manipulate. Study power dynamics everywhere you go. Read books on psychology, negotiation, influence, and strategy. Watch how successful people operate. Analyze historical figures who accumulated and maintained power. Learn from both their successes and their failures. Become a student of human nature, and you will develop an almost supernatural ability to predict behavior and engineer outcomes. And most importantly, be patient. The transformation from naive to strategically sophisticated does not happen overnight. It is a process of continuous refinement that takes months and years. But every day you apply these principles, you become a little more dangerous, a little more capable, a little harder to defeat. And over time, these small improvements compound into a level of personal power that most people will never understand or achieve. You are becoming the kind of man who sees the game while others are being played. The kind of man who thinks 5 moves ahead while others are still reacting to the last move. The kind of man who cannot be manipulated because he understands manipulation better than those who try to use it against him. The kind of man who never loses because he never enters a battle without already knowing how it will end. This is not about being paranoid or cynical. This is about being awake in a world where most people are sleepwalking. This is about refusing to be a pawn in someone else's game. This is about claiming the power that is available to anyone intelligent enough to understand how the world actually works. The path forward is clear. Master your emotions so they cannot be used against you. Understand the hidden economy of human interaction so you can navigate it strategically. Use silence as a weapon and a shield. Manage your reputation deliberately. Think in terms of long-term positioning rather than short-term gratification. Develop self-mastery through brutal honesty and disciplined action. And maintain moral flexibility so you can adapt to any situation without being paralyzed by outdated rules. Do these things consistently, and you will become unstoppable, not because you are stronger or smarter than everyone else, but because you are playing a different game, a game that most people do not even know exists. A game where strategy defeats strength, where patience defeats aggression, where intelligence defeats emotion, and where the man who understands power will always defeat the man who merely wishes for it. You have been given the map. Now you must walk the path. Every interaction from this moment forward is an opportunity to apply these principles. Every challenge is a chance to demonstrate your strategic sophistication. Every day is another step in your transformation from someone who gets played to someone who cannot be touched. The world will not make this easy for you. It will test you. It will tempt you to return to comfortable naivety. It will punish you when you first start applying these principles because you will make mistakes. But if you persist, if you continue to observe, adapt, and refine your approach, you will reach a point where power flows to you naturally, where people instinctively respect you, where opportunities appear without you chasing them, where you move through life with the quiet confidence of someone who knows he cannot be defeated because he has mastered the only game that matters. This is your path. This is your transformation. This is how you become the man who never loses. Not by being lucky, not by being ruthless, but by being strategically superior to everyone who underestimates you. The choice is yours. You can return to the comfortable ignorance of believing the world is fair, or you can step fully into the power that comes from seeing reality clearly and acting accordingly. Choose wisely. Your future depends on it.